Hi there, this is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is the last day of a big sale. So first of all, make sure that you know that. Oh boy, it's always so, it's bright except for like right where I want it to be. It's bright on my face. I think my face just attracts light. It's all this white gray hair, I guess. I don't know, but I was busy. I'm sort of behind today. I'm going to have to rush through this like always. This is Gingerbread Man. He's so cute. I already did that earlier, so if you're looking for a lot of different ideas on the Gingerbread Man, I did this, I believe, a video like a month or more ago, but I specifically wanted to show you how to make his little head tilt today. And I also think today is the day I want to show you how to do this, how I did the embossing folder on one of the cards in my newsletters. So that's what we're doing today. But I do want to just remind you about the free shipping. It ends today. You have to place a $75 or more order here in the United States. I'm in Springfield, Missouri. Please contact me if you need anything at all. And so also through the end of this month, wow, I think you only have about one more week, is probably the best join Stampin' Up offer out there. It's, I think I would do the $99 one and get $189 worth of products. That would be me. You can also buy the $35 amount, and I think that's over $100 you get. I just don't really know. I haven't kept very close track of it because anybody who wants to join, they know these deals. They should do it if they haven't already. You're just saving money, okay? So I don't know. I guess I haven't pushed this one as hard as I'd have other ones, just even though this is actually a better deal. Only because, I don't know, maybe it's because of the season. I'm very distracted with a whole lot of things. So I'll attribute it to that. Who knows? But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get started today. The one thing I want to just make sure I've mentioned about this is that this die comes with the die set if you buy the bundle. So make sure you buy the bundle. It might temporarily be unavailable. Who knows? But this one is going to definitely come back. I'm positive. I mean, as far as a while. I don't know about the next catalog. I cannot tell the future, but a lot of people are going to want this for Christmas, and it's not anywhere near Christmas yet. So at least as far as some people's worlds, my Christmas is kind of already come and gone as far as a lot of the things I work on for Christmas. But so this is a fall one today, although I finished my fall stuff like super long ago. Oh man, I keep getting messages. It's election season, so you get a lot of these. This one I really like the little oh snap. You can't read it because it's backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down so that you can actually see. Oops, it didn't flip. Oh, there it went. Okay, so that you can see things in its proper perspective. This will just help getting this up. And then I'm going to have to go find myself over here. I'm finding myself on the computer so that I can see if anybody is joining me. This is Friday. Oh boy. And Fridays, there's, so many things to be doing. And there are other people to be watching. And so if you're not with me, that's okay. I completely understand. My lights actually look pretty good the way they are. It looks nice and bright down there. It's really gray today because it's actually raining. I'm so excited and happy about that because then I don't have to go out and do any watering. So we moved to Missouri basically because of a whole lot of wonderful reasons. But one of the reasons is that I don't have to water. The sky does the watering for me, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to move my board rather than my camera because I think that's going to actually work better. All right, and we'll see as we go. I have to kind of catch up with the video and see if we're all in. And I think we're close. This edge is a little bit off, but not too bad. This is my little doilies. This is in the pre-order right now, ladies. There's a little cute little doily thing going on. Don't miss it. There's lots of cute things. I need my tea over here. So let me get my cup and get my tea over here because today with the rain and all, is definitely a tea day. And I've been making sure I'm drinking a cup of oolong tea every day. I've heard oolong is good for you. I don't know if it is. They always are saying new things are good for you. I was like, okay, if it's natural, I'll try it. We will see. Okay, so oh snap, he has cute little faces that you can decorate him with. He doesn't have so many decorations that it's overwhelming, and I do appreciate that. He has a cute little lollipop. He's got gumdrops in here. He's got candy canes, easy to layer, nice little bow, cute little pinwheel, a coffee cup. That's why I wanted to do coffee, and then I got out some other coffee things. There's a, you know, 2 dies for those gumdrops, which is nice. A nice little speech bubble, which I really liked too. And then there's this little coffee cup. This is the one that comes with this set. But I pulled out, I'm going to show you what I pulled out, because I pulled out some of my coffee things to give him. Oops, that doesn't go there. These are just extras I didn't use, so I kind of threw them in this box. Oh, I don't know why I threw in a white gumdrop. I save things that I just don't even really need to save, because it's not hard to cut out 1 or 2, you know, two of those little white gum. Anyway, whatever. And then another thing I really wanted to do this today, I don't know if I'll get to it though, is this frame. The frame is kind of nice. This is a big stamp, and it's sometimes a little challenging to come up with things to do with a very big image. Some more little suckers. Oh, there's the pinwheel. So the pinwheel, what's the deal? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's not a pinwheel, but you could use it that way if you save the center, but it actually is, I'm probably not going to use this, so I'm going to show you. It's the sucker, and then you can layer it and get different colors, okay? And that's what that die is for. There is a pinwheel one, but anyway, let's see if I did it. Here's the hat. The hat's cute. The bow pieces. I've just got all kinds of little odds and ends here. Another cup. Man, more gumdrops. Now for this card, I don't know if I mentioned it in the newsletter, so in case I didn't, because this would have been the old newsletter, but I used little grains of salt actually. So if any of my grandkids got this, and I wouldn't give it to them because they might lick it, who knows? They're probably, one of them might, because she's little enough she wouldn't know any better, but you know. For these, what I did is I just used the buttons that came with this set, which is actually their eyes. I used those as buttons, and then I just put some glue on it to give it a shine or something. I don't know, not really glue, but I put something lacquery on there, and it's probably, I can't even think there's a lacquer thing you can do, but anyway, that's what I did. But you can use also, for this one, I did just use sequins for the buttons. There's lots of things you can do with that. So anyhow, I just put little dots of glue and some of that rock salt. When you're, you know, grinding up your own salt, you probably got some salt laying around. And frames are really nice to just have the little guy sticking his head out of. So that's how I did those, in case you were wondering, because I'm not really sure how thorough my instructions were for that selection when it comes out. Actually, that was probably still to come, the newsletter for these cards, because it's not even close to Christmas yet. But as you can see, I've been working on that, and I'm probably not going to do Christmas today, but we'll keep those in there just in case. So these are the old stamp sets that I'm using today. Merry Cafe says a super old one, but it had some Halloween and Christmas things on it. And this little cup is nice, but and that is the one I probably used for it. It looks like it, doesn't it? And then Press On, I used this set here for the background. Oh, you got candy cane. That might have even fallen off a card. Who knows? Yeah, I'll find that in a moment. And then on also the little sunburst over his head, and I did Wink of Stella on those lines. And actually I did Wink of Stella on some of those cards too. The cups. More Than Autumn is a set that's available still. And this is a really good one, ladies. Don't miss this one. If you are doing a kit, if you're doing the starter kit and you're not really sure all the things you might want, this would be a really good one to put in as a bundle. Make sure you get the dies. The dies are really important to have. Almost as much so as this. You get little images, and I'm telling you, for cards like this, you want these little images. Sometimes you just don't have in the set you're stamping with exactly the background paper you want. When you have little images, you can always make your own background cards, and it's nice to be able to do that. Now we're going to do this background first. I wanted him to have his little his gingerbread. It says it's pumpkin spice latte season. I'm not into that kind of coffee at all, but I know many people are. So I thought this would be a fun little card to do for that. And I wanted to express the idea of movement behind him by doing a pumpkin-y moving cup. That's why I use this So Swirly folder. This is one that I think is available. We're going to go ahead and just emboss it with Timid Tiger. That's one of our new colors, and it's one that I really like. It's a little less pumpkin-y than, I think, our pumpkin pie. But for a latte, I figured that would be a good thing to do. And this is going to just be a standard card size. So let's just cut it at 5 1/2. And maybe just to make things simple, I'm going to go ahead and do this 4 1/4. And we're going to just make this my base card right here. And normally I would do it in white, but today we're going to just cut some time off. And now I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4. And this is going to be my top piece that I'm going to just fit in there. Although for this one, I actually could just emboss the front. Maybe I will, just to be simple. And then we'll do our pumpkin guy in a minute on that pecan pie. But let's just go ahead and do the embossing first. So I wanted to make sure that the swirls are fitting the way I want them to fit. I want all of this middle stuff to be in here. But remember, your gingerbread man is going to cover a ton. Most of what's going to show is what's at the edge. So make sure that whatever is at the edge is the design that you're going to want. I want it to show movement, like super movement. And that's one reason doing it like this is a little bit of a challenge, because that's not doing it as much. I really want this center to go, but that's going to emboss too much. And also I can't get it through my machine very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and just have to use one of these cutouts, and then I might end up I'll just grab a white card. I've got them all ready to go, scored. So I'm going to move this around here to get I want to see some real good swirling going on, in other words. I think this is going to work best right there. So you're going to use your embossing machine. Now, I just gave this embossing machine to my sweet granddaughter because she loves to do it. She loves to do her cards too. I'm so excited for her to start because it's fun. It's something I didn't start that young. She's already quit pretty good. In fact, she's real good, better than I was when I started. So now that is not the right sandwich. And we've been talking about sandwiches because she's new to it, so she really isn't doing embossing yet. But these folders are all different thicknesses, and you just have to test it out. So here's my base. It's not quite high enough, so I'm going to go ahead and grab out, because this one's not a 3D. This is like just a regular one. some of the regular ones are even thinner. This is my magnetic one, and I don't have a plate or anything on there. I'm just going to place this right on with the magnetic plate, and then this is my special embossing plate, and that's working. And that's what I do. It's one plate or the other. The embossing one is almost always the one I use. I rarely use the other one that comes with the embossing stuff. But once in a while I do. It's real paper thin, not paper thin, but it's just cardboard thin. It's plastic, but it's thin. But this is my special embossing plastic plate. It's a little bit thicker than our cutting plates. And these sometimes work in a pinch if I'm having a hard time figuring out the sandwich, but usually that just changing that base plate out is what works. So now that I've got this embossed, I want to take the front part, because that's the part that's raised. We're just going to put some craft ink on it to make it white. Oop, that's black. That's a very old basic black. I don't want that. Here's the white, okay? So now I'm just gonna take this white craft pad, is what this is basically. It's the white one you get, and they give you this block. I didn't even bother taking the white label off and putting it on, which I should do, and then I'd know which one was white and which one was black, wouldn't I, on the side here. Anyway. And then I bought the ink, and then the little inker, the re-inker white one, you just keep dabbing it on. Now be careful, because this is gonna go pretty good, and you definitely don't want it to get all over it. You just want it on the raised part. So we're gonna just scrape it gently, very gently. And then you can see it's getting that's my foam. Now when we go to have coffee, Jeff is such a good husband. I'll bet your husband's not this kind to you. I hope he is. He does not care about the foam in his coffee much. I know he likes it because he does drink it or eat it, or however you want to say it, but I like to eat it. I like it right out. It's the first thing I suck out of that cup. I love the foam, because when I had to be really strict to keep this 100 pounds off my body, I'm not allowing myself any whipped cream. I rarely get any cream, and I love cream. It's one of my favorite things. I do get some ice cream once a week, okay, but that's it. So foam is a good substitute because it's low fat, because I use low fat milk. Now doesn't that look lovely? It is wet. So don't stick your hands in it at all, or you'll have white. Although it takes a while for this stuff to dry. So just to speed it up, I'm going to take a scrap of white cardstock and just lay it on here and try to dry it up a bit. Okay? And you can use a heat dryer and kind of dry it up a bit too, but you don't have to. This works too. And then I'm going to just kind of scrape it a little bit, just to make sure it's not too whitey. Then that's done, and I'm throwing that away. And that's our background. Isn't it pretty? And then that's just going to fit right on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it on, since I've already done it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and just glue it right on the back of a white cardstock. But if you wanted it to match your gingerbread man, you would want to do it on a piece of pumpkin pie. You know, in fact, I don't know. I might want to just go ahead and use this. It's a little large. It's not too bad, though. I think I can live with it the way it is. It's just a tiny bit large. I'm going to trim it just a little bit, because if I'm going to use that pumpkin pie or Timid Tiger cardstock anyway, it might as well act as a mat for this. So we'll go ahead and cut off. I think I'm going to cut this side off. Okay, so I'm just cutting off about 1/4 of an inch there, and then that's going to lay on there a little bit better, because I definitely don't want it to be raised, and I'm afraid it'll be hard to glue the edges right down to the edge of the card. It's a little challenging to do that. So we'll just glue this on. All right. Anyway, so Jeff takes his cup, his coffee cup. He's so sweet. And takes his lid off. He's really neat and tidy too. I'm a slob. I make sure I get 2 or 3 napkins for me and 1 for him. And then he dips his lid into his foam, gets it out, and then gives it to me. Puts it in my cup. And then he makes sure the lid's on because I'm a slob and I'll probably get stuff all over myself if I was left to my own devices. And that's our ritual every morning when we go work out, we go have coffee, he gives me his phone. I'm happy as a camper. Okay. So now this card's all ready to go for our gingerbread man. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. Now I am not going to emboss this one. I do prefer the gingerbread man embossed. He looks really good that way. Actually, I did emboss him. We will emboss him. I forgot. This one, he has to be embossed. So he's just a regular, your standard gingerbread man. Nothing going on too much with him, but you do need, you either need a Stamparatus or you need one of these big giant blocks, okay? Or if you have a glass mat, I remove this and I just stick my stamp right on that because it's a glass mat. But, and then I put my paper on there in the same way that I'm going to do this. And these pieces are just, oh, there's this nice little rickrack. There's all kinds of stuff. You can just decorate him just like a cookie, you know, out of your oven, a little with your frosting in your bag. You can just do all kinds of things with it. It's very fun. This is a nice set to do with kids. I don't have any kids here to do it with. My neighbors next door, I found a lady who makes sourdough, real sourdough, no yeast. And I found that sourdough actually is much easier for my body to digest. So I'm going to take this die and make sure that this stamp, let's lay this down. So I'm going to lay it down the way I would cut it. No, I'm going to lay it down the way with a cutting edge up, because that's the way the stamp has to stamp. And then I'm going to place this guy in there just to make sure the shape is exactly the shape as my die, because I was having trouble with that. That wasn't working, and his hand was stretching out too much, and I wanted to see all of this detail. So I'm going to push it down now that it's inside there. So I know I'm going to be able to cut out this shape on this side. Let's see if it's the same on this one. It should be. They should be identical. They're pretty close. Not exactly though. So I'm going to just make sure that I'm cutting when I do cut him, I'm cutting the right side, because that's what I fit it to. Okay, I mean, I know this sounds silly. It doesn't seem like it would make that big of a difference, but it has for me. And maybe other people are less, you know, problem prone. I don't know, but because I haven't really heard anyone else complain about this issue, but I had a real major problem with my gingerbread boys before. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece at 4 1/4 and then save this side for who knows what. Actually, I saved it for this card, as you can see, so I could get that brown. Too late. I've already mounted you here, so we're not doing that today. But that way, if we're going to emboss a gingerbread boy, we're going to do 2. And then I can get 2 done in one go. All right, so we'll cut it at 5 1/2, which is in half. And then I'm going to do 2 gingerbread boys, and we'll have 2 already embossed. I did not get out my embossing powder. Let me come and grab that really quick. It should be right on the top of my embossing thing. So we've got that. And I'm going to use this same piece. This is my plaster painting 3D embossing folder paper, because they're so big now. And it's glossy, so it makes a really good background when I'm embossing things. So I can put my powder in there and scooch it back in, as in pour it back in. So you're going to take your little embossing buddy. Rub that all over so that you've reduced all of your static cling. Try not to touch any of those spots. Okay, so that should work good. And then you'll need your Versamark. Okay, and we're going to do 2 of these in quick succession. Well, actually, let's just do 1 at a time so that I don't panic. Okay, so we'll get our... I'm making sure he's inked up really, really good. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. Push that down really well. And I'm going to grab this guy. This helps my feeble hands to apply nice, even pressure. Because I've gotten weaker. Man, I was doing some weight stuff, but I kind of stopped doing it. And, you know, I really should probably be doing it. But I've stopped. I was afraid I was going to hurt myself just because of my surgery. And so I kind of stopped. But man, I have lost some upper body strength for sure. All right, so there we go. So there's our powder. Isn't that sweet? And I don't really see anything that's white on the side that I would normally get off with my paintbrush. Like right here, I see one. You know, I really wouldn't worry about it because it's just going to look like sugar anyway on a gingerbread man. So I did flick it, but it really wasn't even necessary. And then we'll pour our powder in and then we'll do the other one. That took so little powder. Normally, I probably would have just done it in quick succession without stopping to pour all that in, but I'll try to keep it neat here and do that the right way. I don't think it rained as much as I hoped it would out there. It did rain. It stopped for now, but I did see there was supposed to be a whole lot of rain tomorrow, so I'm really hoping it does. Okay, let's see how that worked. Perfect. Okay, so I know that was loud and I'm terribly sorry. All right, so now you get your powder on here again. And again, just pour your powder on there. It doesn't really matter because almost all of it's going right back in there anyway. You know, the only reason you got to be a little careful is if you're doing a whole bunch of cards and you only have 1 jar of embossing powder to use. And if one spot looks like it's a little skimpy, just redo. Just don't touch anything. And then you can make sure it's going to be nice and bold. Okay? And I see little thing there, but nothing too much. So now I'm going to put my powder back in. Keeping your powder dry, that definitely means something different to different people. If you're not a hunter, you probably wouldn't, but does anybody know what that means? I don't know. Maybe they don't. I only know these things from novels. I'm no NRA gun rights person, you know. I mean, I don't mind it, and I'm glad people can defend me with a gun, because sometimes it's really necessary. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to get the emboss. This is like a gun. Speaking of guns. So this is my little heat tool. And now you're going to emboss this puppy. It's gonna, oh, I forgot his eyes. You can't do that until you do the eyes. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I'm really losing it now. Let's go ahead and before we do the eyes, I'm going to clean this because I'm afraid I'll just forget it and stick it back in there if I don't. I'm getting old. Forgetting many things. Yesterday I was leaving the exercise place and just walking in it was a beautiful sunny day, so I was smiling and enjoying it, and I saw this nice old man about my age with his, I assumed, grandson, very cute. Well, or grandma, actually. She even looked younger than me now that I come to think of it. And I saw this little boy smiling, and I smiled at him, and he said, hi really loud and waved, and I said hi and waved, smiling, thinking what a charming, delightful boy. And then I heard him behind me about 10 steps when they finally got to the door away say, Grandma, Grandma, I said hi to that man. I'm thinking, that man? Child, you're delightful. You're so funny, you don't even know. And I'm so sorry for you. You live in a world where you don't know. But I heard Grandma correcting him instead of saying, oh, that's nice, and just ignoring it, you know, which I wouldn't have done either. But since I'm not his grandma, I probably would. Anyway, let Mom and Dad deal with that issue. But no, she said that wasn't a man. Thinking, it's okay, he can call me a man if he wants to, because clearly I'm not, and it's pretty funny, actually. All right, so now I am going to put, I didn't want to dampen his day. He was in such a great mood. So I do like the little winking eye. I mean, I'm just sort of partial to it. The other ones are cute too, but the little wink just reminds me of that little boy with his... Cute now because he's young, you know, wouldn't be probably so cute in a few years, and then it wouldn't be cute because he probably would be trying to be funny, you know. It's never as cute then. So I threw away my paper, so let me grab another piece because I do need just a little something here to catch that white powder. And we're going to do 2 eyes in one go. Let me open up my powder. I don't like to do that after I've stamped. Okay, so now we're set. We're all ready. We've got this has his mouth, his eyes, and everything. So we're going to put that on and that on. We get our powder on here. Hopefully we won't have a whole bunch of little white doodads, because that's never good. Haha, perfect. Very cute. There are some white, you know, pieces of powder on those, but because I fooled around, that helped. Let's twat that. There we go. That helped quite a lot. So now we'll just put that little bit back in. Now the thing is I just throw these pieces of paper away on every use because there's always a tiny bit of powder in there. I don't like to feel it on my hands, and I don't like to clean it off my board. So that's why I use all of them. Every little scrap that I'm not gonna, you know, use for anything goes to my embossing powder redo. Okay, now that we don't need that big. I rarely use that big giant block, but for the gingerbread man, it's kind of a necessary thing, unless you've got like another big giant block. You do know, I hope, that you can just take wood blocks that you have. You won't be able to see through them, but you can just use those for those big stamps too. Any kind of glossy surface that's a hard surface will work. Right, so we're going to go ahead and emboss this with our heat tool. And it's always satisfying to see this whiten up and change. It's fun, fun, fun. Very, very nice. I could have done his tilted head on one of them, but the problem is if I'm going to tilt his head, then I can't cut him out with a die. Because when I do that, it changes it, obviously, and it doesn't work. So for the tilted head guy, you're going to have to fussy cut it out. So we will do one of those, but only at the end here. I want to get this guy on one of them. I'm going to just use one today, but I'm getting them both finished because if you leave this powder guy laying around, he's going to disintegrate before your very eyes, and you'll have to do him all over again. Once you've heated this, it's melted on really good. It's solid. It's going to stay put. But until you've melted it, it'll just brush off. Once that ink is dry, it just brushes off and it is gone. So I'm going to let that cool, and then we're going to cut that out. and apply it to our card and get that one finished. Let's go ahead and take a piece of white cardstock, and you could use, maybe I'll just use this as just to simplify things. I colored him. I did it on white and colored him, but I'm not sure if I have a big enough piece of scrap white here. And I don't really want to take the time to do it either. So we're going to go ahead and just stamp it and then not worry about that. I kind of wanted him to look like he wasn't all one color, and he was kind of like a baked cookie, you know, is kind of brown and crispy on the edges. And there it is. I had lost my stamp set. Here you are, ready to go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next then is I'm going to take my, this guy, and we're going to fix him onto that block in such a way as to be able to tilt his little head. And then I'll just stamp him with black ink. Oops, just toss all that stuff over. My magnet's not all that strong, not strong enough to hang on to all of them. It works great if I don't have very many magnets, but that set has a bit too many for it. And so what I'm going to do is just lay him down. I don't have to worry about the die because I'm going to fussy cut it anyway. And let's push his body down, but I do want his little head to tilt up. Okay. So we're going to just stretch his little head, kind of like Casper's ghost. And you can move it however you want, but I just want it tilted like this. You could tilt him the other way if you want to. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to just use black ink. But I am going to get it real dark because I'd like to stamp this in one go. And if you're concerned about having a very, very solid black line, then you might want to emboss this with black powder. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a go like this and see what happens. Okay, so he looks funny, but that's okay. We're going to do him anyway. I think he's going to look a little funny. Yeah. Let's see how he looks. Okay, this is always fun. This is the fun part. All right, we don't want him to be winking for sure. We're gonna have him eyes wide open. Okay, no O look though. I don't think we want an O. Now, somebody who did the O snap had his arm breaking off or his foot breaking off. No. I'm not doing anything like that, but that was pretty cute, I have to admit. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna see how he looks. Oh, he looks happy, you know? He's smiling up at somebody or something. He's got a double chin, it looks like, so he's probably been eating. Anyway, he's pretty cute. He's a little odd, and so if you don't like it, you can always just move his little head, and then we'll try him again. Okay, I think he's kind of cute, but we'll try him again because I think I'm going to have to put a double chin on him. He looks pretty good, just as is, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's move his head. We're going to tilt it the other way this time. Okay, we're going to just dry it off because I got it kind of wet. There. All right, now I think we can do this. We're going to do just a little tilt this time. No double chin. Okay, so let's get rid of his double chin. Okay, I think that's better. Just a little tilt. Just a little hint of a tilt. Okay. So, see, this is why you want to stamp. It's fun. There's so many things you can do. It gives me something to chuckle about during the day. If I haven't been called a man at the exercise place. I'm sure called worse, not probably right to my face, but I'm actually nicer now than I used to be. Oh, this is the way I did him before. Yeah, this looks good. I can see his little head is tilted and he doesn't have a double chin. Much better. Much better. You could have him looking down. Now see, if I wanted to put my eyes on here, he could be looking at his little, ooh, broken hand, you know. I'm not doing the broken hand, but if I was, that's what I could do. But I actually prefer, his happy smile. What did I do with my face? Did I put it back? I did. There it is. Let's put my gingerbread boy on here before I lose him, because he's got to fit around all of these pieces. Okay, there we go. There's the winking eye. And you can use the big, there are buttons. I believe these are buttons right here. There are 2. I wanted more than 2. I wanted 3. I don't know why. I just felt like gingerbread boy, he's got to have 3. We're gonna go like that. Oh, so cute. Love it. Now he's pretty fun. That one's actually pretty fun too. He just looks more like the kind of cookie I would probably make. It's just a little lopsided. So, you know, I could have thought, I suppose, as the little boy said, you know, hi, you know, to that man back there, I could have said, oh, bless his heart. That actually is it much more sassy than I thought. I knew it was kind of meant in a sassy way, but since we've lived here in Missouri, I found out, wow, it really is super sass. Not just a little sass, it's like super sass. Okay, you know what? Let's not do his buttons, because I want to do those with orange, and they won't really be orangey enough if I stamp them on this stuff. I would have to use something else. So I'm going to go ahead and just fussy cut this little guy out. Before I do that, I forgot. I'm going to use this. This is like a big giant Sharpie paint white. It's white. It might drip a bit. Let's see if it does. Oh, it's glued on here. Good. Okay. It's got a really fat chisel tip, but I really want to go white over here. Do you see what a nice crisp white you can get? I don't need it to be over the black, but I'm just following the black so that I can kind of keep the right, you know, squiggle going, but I do want the black to define that. So, you know, that's what I'm doing with ones so that I don't have to get out embossing again and do all of that. I'm just using my Sharpie paint pen. And there's a whole bunch of paint pens, but this one has been the longest lasting one for me. And it also is pretty white. It's not as white as embossing, but almost. It's pretty good. All right, so the only thing is I'm really hoping that lid doesn't get so stuck on there that I can't get it off one of these days. Now, I do have to let that dry for a while, so we will set that aside. The other guys are all ready to go, so we're going to cut out one of our little gingerbread boys, and we'll get that other card done and out of the way and be on to other things for the day. Kinds of Southern sayings, like bless your heart, that might mean the opposite of what you would think it would mean. Not being from the South and not wanting to make a fool of myself, I don't ask people things, but I probably should. But I've kind of picked up a few things. All right, so now you can see he matches perfectly. And if I'd wanted to make him a card, you could, oops, you probably can't see it, but there he is, all ready to be cut out. So if I wanted to make this a double side, you know, a card that folds and is shaped like a gingerbread man, which is why I bought this set. It's pretty cute. I would have laid this on here, on my white paper, and I would have stamped right on the inside where these dies were, just to make sure they were the exact distance I wanted them. Or the other thing you can do, which I saved this just so that I could do this, I cut out a piece of pecan pie when I did my first round. I saved what was left over. And then I can just use this. So this is my template for stamping my gingerbread boy. So this is where the card would join. And then that way I can make sure his little stamped hands don't actually touch this line, since this is where the card fold would be. So I would stamp in here, position him like I did so that you can see he's cutting well inside these cut lines, and then stamp him here, stamp him there, put on your Versamark, emboss, and then let that cool, and then you could cut him out in just one pass and you don't have any issues, okay? So that's how to do that if you were gonna do a card. In this case, I'm just making him, I didn't even do any cards like that, I don't think. Maybe I did. If I did, I've already used him for some fall project, because I don't think I saw him. But see, you can see that would fold and be really cute, and it matches up perfectly. Okay, so it didn't cut, obviously, because it's designed to be a cute little card. Now you can, if you don't want to do this, what I'm doing, you could take this and then cut again, just to make sure, you know, you're getting exact impressions and all of that. But I'm not that fussy about it. So I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to round his little paw off here and be happy about it. And in fact, because I kind of don't like borders so much anyway with anything, it's possible that I might even just, like, where's my card? This one I cut right at the edge where the stamped image is. Where's this? Oh, here's the card. So for this card, though, because there's so much brown and everything in it, I actually wanted the edge of him, so I didn't do that. But that's one reason I wanted the coffee cup there, because I kind of flubbed mine there. This one I did better, but so he looks okay without a coffee cup. But anyway, we're going to do a coffee cup on his hand anyhow, because it's cute and I like it. But don't you think those orange buttons look nice? And we do have some nice orange dots in the catalog or in the store, or we did. I hope we still do. I'm not real sure that we do. I hope so, for your sake. But anyway, you'll figure it out, I'm sure, one way or the other. So you take your little dimensionals, because you definitely want him to be standing up and off of your card after you've spent all this time to do it. There is powder on the back, so make sure you're kind of getting it off where you're putting these dimensionals, or they won't stick very good, will they? All right. There's so many little fun colloquialisms. I'm not saying that word right. I know it's a word. I had to say to Jeff the other day, is that even a word? It's a word I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly. And is it even a word? I probably have made it up. But some things that my mother used to say, she didn't live in the South. She didn't come from the South, but maybe her mother did. They didn't. They were from the Midwest too, though. So maybe there was enough Southern influence, like fixin' to. I'm fixin' to do something. Now, look at how his neck is like, I might trim a little if I was going to be like super worried about it, but I'm not going to be. But I do like his little bubble for the words, so we're going to fit that in, but I don't really want Season's Eatings, and I don't want baking spirits. This guy is having a bit of coffee. And when you're going to have coffee, it's usually because you want to wake up or you want to perk up in some manner. So that's one reason I really liked these that say perk up and all of that. All right, so all you need is confidence and lots of coffee. I hope your day is full of perks. I don't know what's going to fit in here, but we're going to take the little bubble and we'll see what sentiments will fit.
because coffee is always a good idea. That's not always true, but it's pretty good. That almost fits, barely. Hope your doesn't fit. Coffee, press on. I don't want press on. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, hello fall. It's pumpkin spice latte season. That's why I did that with this one. Now I do have, you know, Halloween coming up. I could do witch's brew with screaming sugar. That is very, very funny, but not really gonna work. Love is brewing. Woohoo. This would be a good one for Valentine's Day too, huh? Apple cider's fine if I'd done it in red. That would have been really cute, in fact. But we'll do Hello Fall since I've kind of limited my options. I did not bring things along, and I don't remember where I got this die from. It does fit this cup perfectly, but I don't remember. I think there might be another die set, you know, another stamp set that went along with this, and I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I move things around so that they fit where I'm using them, and that's another reason I don't sell any of my stamps, because I'd never be able to hobble together a complete set. Oh, that's Party in a Cup. Oh, I don't want that, but that's a really cute one. Oh, where did I put this? No, I don't want Party in a Cup. I've been using that one, though. It's a good one. All right, Hello Fall. Oh boy, Jeff's gonna be home soon. I bet school's out early today. So let's get done. Hello Fall, it's pumpkin spice season. I'm gonna turn that over. I kind of flubbed that one. There, that's better. It's not quite as fuzzy. My Timid Tiger is nice and juicy. I pushed it down way too hard. Okay, and we do need a cup, but I'm going to figure that out here in a minute. Let's go ahead and cut this out over here because I'm sort of running out of time, so I need to be a little quicker with everything now. All right, there we go. We'll get this little guy on here. Oh, I'm gonna have, oh, there, I can get it. That's the only problem with his mouth being so high. It's easy to position this so that your sentiment doesn't, you want that bubble to be pointing right at his mouth, and I believe it didn't do that perfectly on my sample card because I didn't leave myself enough room at the top to do it, and I kind of had to just stick it in there, but works anyway. All right, so that's that. All I would need would be my coffee cups. Coffee cup here, and these are, it's this little mug right here, and this little pumpkin. Oh boy, I don't see it. Where did I get that? I have no clue. I don't see a little pumpkin. I have many little pumpkins. I just hunted until I found that one. And, you know, I know Stampin' Up is going to their photopolymer set without these pictures on the side. And many people are adapting to that. I am not. Just in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually continuing to, I don't buy that many stamps. So, you know, each year, the 10 stamps, I'm probably going to be buying 10 stamp sets, maybe 15 at the most. Then I can do 15 cases a year, easy. They don't cost much. And then I'm just taking my images and reducing them on my computer program, and then I am cutting and pasting them right to the edge on the inside of the case so that I can keep shoving these things in and find things, because I have them all cataloged on my shelves exactly where I want them so I can find them. And, you know, I'm not going to change my ways because it just does not pay me to do that. So I will be happily doing that. I'm happy they're finding a better way to to offer stuff, that's great. I'm thrilled because I don't think I'm one of the very few that are probably all that bothered by it. Other people are just figuring it out. All right, now the size of this cup that comes with the set is really a nice size, and I like its design. I like all of that, and I wanted it to be orange, so I did do that, but you know, I'm pretty partial to this. Yeah, but you know, I didn't think that would actually look good in his hand. The little handle with this set is kind of necessary, and I do have other cups, but they aren't this size. They're not the perfect size. So I'm going to take my white. I'm going to just break down. We're going to go ahead and cut one of these puppies out. I'm just going to do, actually, I'm not going to cut just one. Let me bring this over so you can see what I'm doing. Because I'm only going to do one cardstock piece. It's not that terribly thick. I'm going to go ahead and take my little scrap and I'm going to fold it over in half. Okay. Get rid of my little scrap pieces that are kind of stuck on there. And then I'm going to put my cup on there. It's got two pieces, you know, two levels to it. And then I'm going to I'm going to go through a couple of times just to make sure it cuts through all the way. And if I had like a whole bunch of cards to do, I wouldn't do that, because actually the reason I wouldn't is because once you have done that, it is usually just a little bit on the hard side to get it out. Shoves it in there really good, and it's a little hard to get it apart because it's shoved in there really good. And if you wanted it to be that way, fine, but you would need to glue it because it won't stay, you know. So, oh, I want that in the other set. I better put it in the set I want it in, because I forget where it goes. It goes in there. All right. So now you have your little cup, and I'm going to grab my Timid Tiger marker. Or actually, this is the blending pen. So this is the dark one, dark Timid Tiger. Yeah, he's pretty dark. And I probably wanted the light one, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to do the edges there. Make sure it's all covered really good. My goodness. Now, I've got something tickling my throat. And this is slightly lighter. Not much, a little. Now, you know, once in a while I will get a blending pen. I love these blending pens, whether they're alcohol pens, whether they're from Stampin' Up or any other company. Actually, you know, don't care, because they're all really good, but the colors you want are the Stampin' Up colors. They match. So the other ones, you're kind of just guessing. It's nice to have some of the other ones though, but sometimes they're very close. Like that's pretty close. As it wears out though, it's going to become more apparent which is which, because the chances are you're going to use your light one more than your dark one. And so because of that, you know, that's going to work, but sometimes they're so close you can hardly tell the difference. And when that's the case, you're just not going to be buying it as often, because basically you're getting two for one, because we're not allowed to buy them singly. All right, so we're going to put this little coffee cup right there in his little paw. And if I wanted to, I could there. I could, I suppose, if I wanted to, put glue down here just to make sure that his little hand doesn't let loose of that edge. Kind of needs to stay there. Okay, so stay down there. That glue will disappear as it dries. And then for this one, we're going to go ahead and stick it on the bottom right here, even though I kind of liked the other little pumpkin. Was there a pumpkin? I keep thinking there's a pumpkin here, but there's not. So I don't know where I got that pumpkin from. It must have been from like a wreath set or something. So these dots were actually called faux glass dots. They're probably not available anymore, but I bought many of them because I loved the color combination. I think this is probably the wild wheat. So these were probably when that in color set came out. And I thought these were perfect for his buttons, these little Cajun craze ones, or these these probably pumpkin pie ones. I think today I'm going to use the Cajun craze ones for his little buttons. Okay, 1, 2. 2 is fine. I kind of liked 3. This is how big those buttons in the thing are. They're pretty large. I kind of preferred these. And then I do like these on the center of my cup. Isn't that cute? And if you want to put a little dot on there, that's fine too, but I found it was not at all necessary, and I kind of actually wished I hadn't stuck it on there when I did. So that card is done. And the only other thing that I was going to show you today that was different probably than whatever I am showing you when you do that Christmas video, that is probably not posted yet, and it won't be until December. I think I did it for my team. A long time ago, so they would have it. But basically all you're doing is you're taking 2 dies and making a frame with those. Now we have a lot of framed dies, and I brought an old one out so that I could just in one pass get a nice early espresso frame to have part of him over it and part of him under it. I thought it looked pretty cute. And then I just embossed this word. Actually, that is a die cut. I can feel that. It's a little sticky. So I must have a die cut word latte somewhere. I have no idea. Obviously I do, because I don't write that well. So that is it. I bet it's in my... I bet it's in this More Than Autumn. Let's have a look. Because pumpkin spice is definitely from this More Than Autumn. Pumpkin spice. It's in the dies. Oh, there's the pumpkin. So that is the pumpkin I used. And I did cut off a little of it so it wasn't quite so fat to stick on there. But that pumpkin is from this autumn, More Than Autumn. And there's the word latte right there. So what I did is I took that die and I cut out early espresso 2 times and glued it together so it was raised and not just one piece, actually. Anyway, so get this set with your Gingerbread Man set, wherever I've laid it, and I've mislaid it and I don't see it. There you are. Don't miss the dies. If you're gonna get anything with dies this year, these are the 2 sets to do, because you've got Christmas in both, you've got autumn in both, you can do Valentine's Day with both. And Easter would be a stretch, but you could probably even work that in with this guy as a butter cookie somehow. You know, birthdays, everything. You've got everything. So, anyhow, speaking of Southern sayings, I don't use the word y'all much because I don't say it right. Y'all. I did not grow up in the South. I love how people talk here, and not everybody does, because most of us are probably displaced anyway. So.
you know, a whole lot of us are probably not speaking correctly, but anyway. So have a wonderful, blessed day. That is one thing that I've been so happy to be able to say here that I never felt comfortable saying on the West Coast. Here, it's not only accepted, it's loved, because so many people know what that means. It really does mean, I want the best for you, and God gives it. He's so good. So you have a blessed week, a blessed day. I hope you're getting some good rain like us, or better weather. If it wasn't good, it's going to be good for a while, but you know, it won't stay for long. It is going to be winter before you know it. So let's just enjoy this fall as long as we can. And I think that's it. I have no idea what I'm doing next week, but I'm sure it will be fun. I've been working on some really fun projects. And the ones I'm doing right now, you won't see probably until December. But I'm excited for you to get them. They're going to be fun. Fun, fun, fun. Anyway, I'll see you later. You have a wonderful day. Bye.